Hello there. My name is Bibi Babs and I'm the founder of Wise Attraction. Our goal is to build strong families using Christian values. Today, I'd like to talk to you about when you should start preparing for marriage. Recently, I listened to the story of a lady who she had been through three marriages. Her first marriage ended up in the death, sadly, in the death of her husband. And her second and third marriages ended up in divorce. For the second one, she said that they both agreed to split up because they realized that they were not meant to be married. I can't judge her story or her situation, but what I can say, what I know is that if they had both prepared properly for that marriage, they would have either found out that they're not compatible with each other before getting married, or they would have been able to work out their marriage together. So it's very important. One of the most important things you can do for yourself as a single person is prepare for marriage. You know what I find fascinating? Almost everything that we are successful at, success requires preparation. For, let's say you want to become a doctor or engineer, you spend years and years, preparing in uni, studying, learning from people, apprenticeship, whatever it is, to get the skills you need to be successful in that field. But when it comes to real life issues that affect us, that have a very significant impact in our lives, I find that us as human beings, we don't really give it enough time to prepare so that we can be successful. And as the saying goes, failure to prepare is preparation to fail. If you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail. So it's very important to prepare for marriage. The question now is, when do you start preparing? From talking to a lot of singles, I've found that sometimes people in their, early 20s or late teens, you kind of feel that, like life goes on forever. I'll be young forever. I have lots of time. I have lots of this. So I don't think about marriage right now, And so because of that, you find a lot of people not really preparing until when they feel like, yes, now I'm ready to be married. That's when they start preparing. And at that point, like, sometimes it affects when they get married, who they get married to, and how the marriage turns out. So if you're single, I want you to watch this video to the end to find out about when you can start preparing for marriage and how to prepare for marriage. First of all, I want to start by saying that not everyone is going to get married. Not everyone has the desire to get married. Not everyone chooses to get married. And if you're someone that is in this category, it's completely fine. I mean, the Apostle Paul in the Bible, who wrote like literally a significant bit of the New Testament, he wasn't married. He was unmarried and he was happy and he made a lot of impact. So I find that there's some people that they're not married by choice, or they're not married because it just hasn't happened for them, even if they have this strong desire. And if you're in that category, know that you are still a person of great value. Know that you can still impact the world. Know that you can still live a joyful, productive, and happy life. And that is what you should be pursuing. But if you're someone that's choosing not to be married, understand that there will be consequences for every choice you make. If you choose not to marry, there are consequences. If you choose to get married, there are consequences. So just whatever choice you make, be prepared to deal with the consequences. And if it's a choice that you haven't made, understand that you are still precious and you can still impact the world for greatness. So please don't attach your self-esteem, your self-worth, and your value to marriage. I know that to be honest, I'm a great proponent of marriage, but I'm also someone that believes that if this is something that doesn't happen for you, you are still precious and you're still valuable, and I celebrate you. So in terms of preparing for marriage, I'll say start as early as possible. Don't wait till you're ready to be married to start preparing. That is a mistake. If you prepare early enough, it will affect the choices that you're making even whilst you are single and not ready to be married. It will affect the choices that you make. You see, a lot of the things that people experience in marriage came as a result of things that they did whilst they were single. So if you understand what marriage truly is, I'm just opening my phone. So if you understand what marriage truly is, if you understand how the marriage dynamics work on a general basis, of course, when you meet your spouse, it's a different ball game altogether, because your marriage now has to do with who they are. But learning the general principles, general applications, listening to people's stories of how they overcame difficulties, understanding the common issues that people face when they're married is very, very important. So I'll say start, even if you're a teenager, even if you're younger than a teenager. For me personally, I started praying for marriage from primary school. Primary school, you believe it? I started praying. I started writing down everything I wanted. I just like, and it's something that I've been praying for my children, honestly. Like, since I was a child, I've been praying for my children. And I don't know why. I don't know how it came into my mind, or how like the whole thing was strong in me, but that's just what I've been doing. And I'm not any less, for it. And when I got to my early 20s, I began to listen to lots of podcasts and lots of marriage stories on YouTube, and different things. You might look at Wise Attraction and you'll be like, oh, I'm single, I love the content, there is not for me. But really and truly, you should be listening. If you want to get married, you should be following Wise Attraction, because these are the things you need to know, before you get there. You don't have to wait till you're married. And finally, what I'll say is, in terms of preparing for marriage, one very key thing is prayer. You really need to pray. Prayer is that thing that when you pray, it goes into the future and it begins to align things for you even before you get there. So some key prayer points that I'm just going to drop for you if you're a single person and preparing for marriages. One, pray that you won't fall for the wrong person. Pray that you won't get into wrong relationships or fall for the wrong person. That is a very, very significant aspect of marriage, because if you marry the wrong person, if you fall for the wrong person, it can really derail you in a bad way. Some people come back from a bad marriage, but there's so many hurts and pains. We'll all have along life's journey. The hurt and pain of a bad marriage is one of those that is such a huge scar that sometimes is difficult to come away from. Of course, you can heal. Someone can heal and recover and move on well from it. A lot of people have done that, but it takes self-awareness, consciousness. It takes a lot from you to come away from a bad marriage. So prepare to do it right by praying that you don't fall for the wrong person. Pray that you recognize the right person when they come along. Some people, you have some of us, we are stringy because of your taste, your desires. When you're desiring the wrong things. Another prayer point that's attached to this one is pray that you desire the right things in a spouse. Because if you don't desire the right things for when you're ready to be married, you won't recognize the right person. Desiring the wrong things will keep you falling for the wrong people. And it might also be what is keeping you single. For some of you, you're still single now, not because the right person is not around you, but just because your desires are in the wrong place. So what you're looking for is not what you need. What you're looking for is actually bad for you. So this is a prayer point that you need to be praying, that God, let my desires for marriage align with your desires for me. If there are things in a person, in a guy, if you're a girl, or in a woman, if you're a man, that I'm seeking, that I should not be pursuing, that shouldn't be the primary thing I'm seeking for in a spouse, please bring it to my awareness and teach me about the right things to look out for in a spouse, and help me to identify my husband or my wife when I see them. Another prayer point is help my husband or my wife to identify me as their spouse when they see me. This is a prayer point I made a lot as well. Help my husband to identify me as his wife when he meets me. And you know what my husband said? I know I haven't shared me and my husband, we've not come on here to really talk about our story. But what he said when he met me is that he thought, I don't know who this person is, but I want to be her friend. I want to be close to her. He just wanted to be with me. Of course, this was just the first time we met. And you have a lot of people saying that the first time they met their wife, they were like, I'm going to marry this woman. There are people like that, and you want that to be your story. Not everyone has that story. If you don't have that story, that's okay. But it's good so that when you get into the relationship, like if, what, when, where, how, you just know that this is it. This is the deal. You're not wasting your time in pointless relationships. Another one is pray for inner healing from childhood hurts. Now, all of us, as we walk along life's journey, in our childhood, we'll face one pain or the other, one hurt, because we have imperfect parents. There's no perfect person in this world, and there never will be. So the areas that our parents were still learning, trying to understand us, trying to understand themselves, understand their situations, they may have done things that have hurt us. You may feel different type of way about your dad, about your mom, those mommy wounds and those daddy wounds. Pray that God will heal you, and pray that God will heal your future spouse, because the truth of the matter is that your marriage is almost the only other marriage that you've truly experienced is that of your parents. So if there's been any pain, any wrong mentality about men as a result of your relationship with your dad, or any wrong mentality or understandings about women as a result of your relationship with your mom, you will be replaying that in your marriage. That will affect your childhood trauma, if there's been abuse, whatever. All of this, your marriage, even if there's some trauma that you've experienced before that now, like, is just in the background, you don't face it, it's hidden somewhere, marriage will trigger it and bring it back up in how you relate with your spouse. So it's very important personally, I believe that every person that wants to get married needs to go through inner healing, needs to go through an experience of inner healing. So it's something that you should be praying about. God, heal me from every trauma. A lot of people shouting men are scum is because of the trauma from their childhood, and also trauma that they've picked along the way while growing up. So just pray for God to heal you and to heal your spouse, because that will help you have a smoother marriage. Another one is pray for a teachable heart and openness to spiritual guidance and growth. So that's for you and for your future spouse. It's very important. Being teachable is so important, because as I said earlier, we're all imperfect, and because of that, we're going to need to learn. We have blind spots. In marriage, your spouse, my husband is the closest person to me, and there are times, a lot of the time, almost every day, I'll tell this girl talking to you is an imperfect being. He'll tell me, oh, this thing you've done is wrong. I don't like the way you did it. I don't like the way you do that. I don't, those kind of conversations are things that will happen a lot. You need to be somebody that can take correction, and you need to marry somebody that can take correction, so that both of you can grow together. So it's very important. Pray that God will give you a teachable heart, that he'll give you a heart that is malleable to correction, and give your spouse, your future spouse, a heart that accepts correction and that's malleable to it. Because when you get married, I know you probably came together to get married because you're like, oh, we have so much in common. We love this. We do this together. We do that together. Believe me, after you get married, what you will see a lot is your differences. So you begin to see, I don't like the way he brushes his teeth. Oh, I don't like the way he stands when he wakes up in the morning. Like, just little things, will be different. And you that you've been, when you were single, you thought you were the best thing since sliced bread. You will now find out that, somebody has a problem with me. They have a problem with how I do this and how I do that, and you have to adjust. So being teachable, being able to adjust is a very, very important thing to have. So it's a prayer point. Pray for your heart. Start with yourself, and then also pray for your future spouse. And finally, pray for the spirit of wisdom and understanding. This is very important because, like I said, in as much as you and your future spouse will have things in common, you have a lot of things that are different, and that difference is meant to make your home beautiful. You guys are meant to complement each other with your differences. However, those differences can also lead to a lot of conflict and issues that need to be resolved. So when you ask God for the spirit of wisdom and understanding, you then understand how to manage those differences, how to understand each other, how to make the best of those. Differences make the world beautiful. You have black people, white people, Chinese, different colors of people, different personalities, different cultures. Just imagine a world where everyone was the same. It'll be so boring, and the same with your home. You have your personality, you have your husband's personality, you have your children's personality, with each child bringing their own flavor. So you need the spirit of wisdom and understanding so that no personality is stifled. God is the giver of personalities, and he gave it so that we can enjoy this life, So wisdom and understanding will help you to identify those personalities and to find a way to create room so that everyone can flourish and blossom in who they are within your mind. So I hope you found this helpful. Please feel free to share this video, share your comments if there are any prayer points or any other thing that you feel like as a single person needs to be done in preparation for marriage. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and hit